Right now, there is a machine older than most of your parents, floating completely alone, 24 billion kilometers from Earth. It cannot see, it has no fuel to come home. And every single day, it sends us a whisper that takes 22 hours just to reach us. That machine is Voyager 1, and right now, it's dying. September 5th, 1977. A rocket tears through the Florida sky. On board sits a golden spacecraft, the size of a small car, weighing just 722 kilograms. It carries no humans, no weapons, something far more precious. A message from us to whoever might be out there. NASA called it Voyager 1, built to explore the outer planets of our solar system and then just keep going. The engineers who built it thought maybe it would last 5 years. That was 48 years ago. Now, before I tell you how far it's traveled, I need you to feel the scale of this. If the sun were a basketball sitting in the middle of New York City, Earth would be a grain of sand about 26 meters away. Voyager 1 would be in Los Angeles. That's how far it's gone. A machine we built with our hands, sitting in a different city, still talking to us. Voyager 1 is powered by 3 nuclear batteries. They convert heat from the natural decay of plutonium-238 into electricity. When it launched, they produced about 470 watts of power, less than most hair dryers. Today, roughly 249 watts, and falling. Its entire computer system has less memory than a 1990s calculator. The software keeping it alive was written in an ancient programming language called FORTRAN, code that most engineers alive today have never even studied. And yet, 48 years later, this tiny, ancient machine is still talking to us from beyond the very edge of our solar system. That is not just science, that is a miracle. Before Voyager 1 became humanity's most distant ambassador, it had a job to do, and it did that job better than anyone dared dream. Jupiter, March 1979. When Voyager 1 swept past Jupiter, it shattered everything we thought we knew about the giant planet. It discovered active volcanoes on Io, Jupiter's moon. Before Voyager, scientists assumed nothing beyond Earth had volcanic activity. Voyager proved us spectacularly wrong. Io wasn't just volcanic, it was the most volcanically active body in the entire solar system, with plumes of sulfur blasting hundreds of kilometers into space. It revealed that Jupiter has faint rings, something nobody suspected. Voyager checked. It found 3 entirely new moons orbiting Jupiter that no telescope on Earth had ever detected. And then it flew on. Saturn, November 1980. At Saturn, Voyager 1 dove dangerously close to its largest moon, Titan, a world wrapped in an orange atmosphere so dense and alien that scientists suspected it might harbor the building blocks of life. Voyager confirmed Titan had a nitrogen-rich atmosphere, similar to Earth's early atmosphere billions of years ago. First time any moon had been confirmed to have a real, dense atmosphere of its own. But making that close pass at Titan came at a cost. Saturn's gravity slingshot Voyager 1 out of the plane of the solar system, launching it upward, away from the planets, away from any future encounters. Away from everything. And it never looked back. Then, February 14th, 1990. At the request of the astronomer Carl Sagan, NASA turned Voyager 1's cameras backward one final time, from 6 billion kilometers away. The image that came back changed human consciousness. Earth appeared as a tiny, pale blue dot, barely a pixel, suspended in a sunbeam, a mote of dust in the vast cosmic dark. Carl Sagan looked at that photograph and wrote words that will outlive every empire ever built. That's here, that's home, that's us. Voyager 1 gave us the most humbling image ever taken, a photograph that forced the entire human race to see itself small, precious, and alone. In August 2012, Voyager 1 crossed a boundary no human-made object had ever crossed before. It entered interstellar space, the vast, cold ocean that exists between the stars, the region beyond our sun's influence, where the solar wind dies and the true emptiness of the galaxy begins. Voyager 1 became the first object ever built by human beings to leave our solar system. It is still out there, still traveling, at roughly 61,000 kilometers per hour, faster than any bullet ever fired, moving toward a star it will loosely approach in about 40,000 years. But here's the terrible truth. Those nuclear batteries lose about 4 watts of power every single year. By 2025, the team began facing impossible choices, shutting down instruments one by one. Science instruments that took decades to build, instruments that can never be turned back on. Then, November 2023, the nightmare began. Voyager 1 suddenly stopped sending coherent data. Instead of readable telemetry, it started transmitting pure gibberish, random ones and zeros, noise. The team stared at their monitors in disbelief. And the problem was brutal. To attempt any fix, they had to send a command to Voyager. That command would take 22 hours to arrive. Then they'd wait another 22 hours for any response. Every single diagnostic test took 2 full days just to get an answer. They eventually traced the fault to a corrupted memory chip in the flight data system computer, a chip the size of your thumbnail, causing a crisis across 24 billion kilometers of empty space. Team working on Voyager 1 is small, a handful of engineers, some of whom have dedicated their entire careers to this single spacecraft. One of them is Susan Dodd, the Voyager project manager based at NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, California. She has been fighting to keep Voyager alive for years. In interviews, she's described the moment the signal went garbled as devastating, like hearing a loved one suddenly stop making sense. Another key figure is Todd Barber, the mission's propulsion engineer, who has worked with Voyager for decades and calls it the little spacecraft that could. These are real people, sitting in a real room, writing commands in a programming language most of the world has forgotten, then waiting 44 hours to find out if their fix worked. In early 2024, the team sent a software patch to Voyager, essentially rerouting code around the corrupted chip, teaching a 48-year-old spacecraft a completely new trick. They held their breath for 44 hours. And then, April 2024, a signal came back. Coherent, clear, readable. In the control room at JPL, people cried. NASA's strategy now is radical prioritization, deciding which instruments matter most, which can be shut down to conserve the last dying watts, and how to squeeze every possible second of science out of a machine that was only supposed to last 5 years. NASA's Deep Space Network, massive dish antennas in California, Spain, and Australia, continue locking onto Voyager's faint signal every single day, rotating across the planet to maintain contact as Earth spins. A dying spacecraft, a global network of ears listening. The hard truth. No, not forever. Sometime between 2025 and 2030, Voyager 1 will reach a point where it no longer has enough power to keep even its transmitter alive. The signal, that pale, dying whisper from the edge of everything, will fall silent. There will be no explosion, no dramatic crash. Voyager 1 will simply stop talking. But it will keep flying. For billions of years, it will drift through interstellar space, silent, cold, dark, long after the Earth itself is gone, long after the sun has swallowed our planet, long after every human being who ever lived has been forgotten. Somewhere out there, a golden record is attached to its side, a disc containing greetings in 55 languages, music from Bach to Chuck Berry, the sound of rain, of surf, of laughter, of a mother's first words to her newborn child. A message in a bottle cast into the cosmic ocean. And here is the impossible, breathtaking truth. There is a chance, however small, that in some unimaginably distant future, something will find it. Something that has never heard the word human. And it will hold a golden disc, and it will learn that once, on a pale blue dot, in a quiet corner of the Milky Way, there were creatures who looked up at the stars with wonder. Creatures who were afraid and brilliant and flawed and dreaming. Creatures who sent a piece of themselves into the dark, not because they thought anyone would answer, but because they needed to believe the darkness was worth speaking into. Right now, as you finish watching this video, Voyager 1 is out there, moving alone, further from home than anything we have ever built. And it is still sending its signal. Every 22 hours, a whisper arrives at our planet, the mechanical heartbeat of the loneliest machine in human history, and a small team of people sit down and they listen. They listen because Voyager 1 is more than a spacecraft. It is proof that human beings, with all our failures, all our wars, all our smallness, are also capable of something extraordinary. We built something with our hands, we pointed it at the stars, and 48 years later, it's still flying. The next time you look up at the night sky, when you find a quiet moment and stare into that infinite black, know that out there, beyond every planet, beyond every boundary, beyond the reach of sunlight itself, a piece of humanity is sailing through the stars. And it carries your voice. It carries your music. It carries the sound of your rain, your laughter, your love, out into the forever. Goodbye, Voyager, and thank you.